life of that small plane.
For somebody like me whose challenge in life is I have sleep apnea. So I have to plug in this lovely machine which is called a CPAP machine at sea level every day to sleep. And what this machine does, it pumps oxygen into my system whenever required. And I am now attempting to do something where the basic challenge is to find oxygen. The other challenge is the machine doesn't work at that altitude, it goes completely haywire. So I was told medically not to attempt this, for a very high probability of me passing away. I did it. I'm alive to tell the tale, thanks to a lot of good people who helped me along the way. Thanks to the excellent support system that I got from MHE, which is run by Dilshad Master Kumar. Every day when we would set out, somebody would actually go ahead, find an electricity point either through solar or through gensets and power up my battery packed machine so that I would get 4 to 5 hours of sleep. I went to Everest Base Camp thanks to my friend Vishal Gondal of GOQii, who one fine day said, "Chal walk pe chalte hain." And the walk was of course the EBC. I checked with my doctor, I was told not to do it. But as entrepreneurs, when somebody says don't do it is when the fun begins. So I said, okay, let me give it a shot. And I had a dear friend called Rohit Katte in New York who got me this lovely portable machine, which I was told the battery would last for 8 hours. What me and Rohit didn't figure out was that at that altitude, what is a normal battery for 8 hours would last only for 4 hours. I landed in Kathmandu with Amit Singhal, who I met at the airport, and these guys said we need to take a small flight to a place called Lukla. And one thing I decided before I started on this journey is that I will not Google too much information, because if I Google too much information then I would not be able to do it. So I said I'm going completely on faith. I know that I'm going with wonderful people like Vishal, Harpreet, Amit, Jitu, and there's Dilshad, who has an excellent company which will take care of me. So I went on that faith. Next day, early morning, we went to the airport and I discovered that the plane that we are going to get into is a little larger than a Maruti 800 car, and I'm scared of flying. I have huge challenge of turbulence on regular flights. It's a very small aircraft, and after we landed, I discovered that this is the most dangerous airport in the world. To get a sense, this is Kathmandu, this is Lukla. We take off, the plane takes off. It's a very small plane. You can see the pilot right in front of you. It's swaying in the air. You are surrounded by mountains. I was praying all the time. And of course, when I landed and I switched on my phone, I discovered that I've landed safely at the most dangerous airport in the world. Then we started walking.
Fear factor 2 conquered. This was so much fun.
So every day early morning 6:30 we would wake up, do a very decent breakfast of porridge, eggs and toast, and then with our Sherpas and all our stuff we would start walking. An average of 8 to 9 hours of walk every day at high altitude, low oxygen, but awesome views, lovely weather and great company. So my machine worked up to a certain point. So every day when we would start, a Sherpa would run ahead, find the nearest village, find a charging point, charge my machine. It would work for 4.5 hours at best. Next day the cycle repeats. So we started walking, we did 2 days of acclimatization in between. Tough, but a lot of fun.
बशर राज़े दिली कहकर ज़लीलो ख्वार होता है, निकल जाती है जब खुशबू तो गुल बेकार होता है। मिटा दे अपनी हस्ती को, मिटा दे अपनी हस्ती को, अगर कुछ मर्तबा चाहे कि दाना खाक में मिलकर गुले गुलजार होता है। बचपन से लेके जवानी तक मुझे बस इतना ही आया, एक नाम तेरा लिखना, एक नाम तेरा पढ़ना। बचपन से लेके जवानी तक मुझे बस इतना ही आया, एक नाम तेरा लिखना, एक नाम तेरा पढ़ना। आवारा हवाओं ने सीखा है हसीनों से, फूलों के लिफाफे पे तितली का पता लिखा।
नाले बंदुक दिनाले बंदुक मृगलाई ताकेको, मृगलाई मैले ताकेको होइन मायालाई ताकेको। रेशम पिरिरी, रेशम पिरिरी, sometime uphill, sometime downhill, रेशम पिरिरी।
We just reached and it has started snowing.
Snowing at 14,500 feet. It's amazing. It's amazing. This is what everyone should do.
Every time we would get tired, we would just sit down and look at the scenery around us and would get recharged. Apart from that, for me personally, it was a brilliant journey because I was walking with two great people, Vishal Gondal and Amit Singhal. And just hearing the conversation between these two for 12-14 days was, I think, better than a Harvard MBA. So as an entrepreneur, as an individual, I learned a lot. The other fact was that as a group, that chemistry just worked out well. I discovered different facets of personalities. I learned to play Teen Patti. I don't play cards. But thanks to these guys I was going with, they actually taught me how to play Teen Patti. I played that. I saw some beautiful dances by Dr. Bhide, who's an eye surgeon, but was a completely different person when he came to the base camp. And then we had this superwoman who was like, she would start ahead of us and she would complete a 9-hour trek in 5 hours. Apart from that, we were staying in small, lovely tea houses on the way. Got amazing bakery products, great view, lovely local people, and in all, an amazing experience. It was my dear friend Vishal Gondal who said, Rahul, we are all going to Everest Base Camp, chal. So whenever Vishal proposes something, my sound check is Harpreet, his wife. So I reached out to Harpreet and I said, Harpreet, what do you think? Is it a good idea? She said, Rahul, it's all in the mind to chal. And Harpreet is somebody who's helped me do a 100-kilometer trail walk in the mountains earlier. I've done 3 of them. I went and checked with my doctor. I was told not to do it. My wife actually panicked at the last minute and said, you have sleep apnea. Why do you want to do it? But somehow I felt that if not now, when? So I'll tell you honestly, hardships, of course, but it was a very pleasant walk in that sense. The quality of air, there was no pollution there. What I realized that if you follow what the locals tell you, so one thing I was very clear about is I would follow all the rules, so to say. The moment I would wake up early morning, I would have 1 garlic peel complete, 1 pod. Then I would have hot water, uske andar ginger sliced, drink the water, chew the ginger, have that. I would eat the local superfood, which is white rice, yellow dal and sabzi, and of course a lot of porridge. I was walking at my own pace. I was not trying to compete with anybody, so I was the last person to finish each day. But I was having a lot of fun. I was walking very slowly, taking baby steps, resting a lot, taking a lot of videos, lots of pictures, and I decided I'm going to have fun on this trip. So I was taking my time to complete. I think that helped me. But yes, it's a tough thing. You could feel the lack of oxygen as you started climbing higher. The general rule for us was walk high, sleep low. So we'd go up to a certain point, then walk back a bit and sleep a little lower. So I think taking all those precautions were good for us. Couple of similarities. I was sitting on a trip which I was told I should not do, which is what happens whenever you set up a new venture. Most people tell you why it will not work. That's one similarity. But I realized if you have a brilliant team with you, so I had a great team of people with me. I was going with a very good tour operator who already had experience in that. You can take the whole thing back into a startup. If you have a brilliant team in a startup, that's half the job done. A lot of things that we had assumed didn't work out as we planned. But because we had a good team, we were able to adapt and change our strategy accordingly. So when we came back all the way at Lukla, when we were supposed to come back, we ran into, it was bad weather. So no flights were taking off. And we checked and we were told that last time, 14 days, there were no flights taking off. Amit and Vishal just took a call there and then let's rent a chopper and then go back to Kathmandu. I think that was a good call. Even while we were walking, whenever both Vishal, Amit or Hapit would realize that I'm going a little weaker, I'm not able to work, they would just silently come, start chatting with me, give me some snacks, make sure that I drank water, make sure I was rested, and take me along. So as a team, we all helped each other move on.
Fatigue has set in. Altitude is playing its tricks. But mild headache.
We are right now standing behind the Everest. That's how your dreams and vision should be.
You all have your own Everest to climb. Make sure you climb that.
And because the general mood and that weather also makes you a little irritable, it makes you a little snappy. We all had our issues, there was just basic accommodation and all. But because as a team we connected very well, we kept the spirits high. That same thing, if you translate into a startup, you will achieve your goal. When I came back after about a week, I realized that if I'm sitting in a car the whole day and traveling, I was more tired just sitting in the car the whole day in the plane than I was walking for 9-10 hours at a stretch. So once I'd finished the EBC, the base camp, last 2 points I was not able to sleep because at that altitude my machine was not working. That last day I had not slept the whole night. I walked a long way. I was very tired. The moment I finished the base camp, I said I will not stop at this point. I will go one step further. And I walked all alone all the way back. So physically it was a very strenuous walk. And I was walking all alone in falling snow. But I had more energy doing that than on the plains when I'm sitting in a car and no physical exertion. So you can say it's state of mind, you can say it's the weather, a lot of things. My key takeaway is most of it is in your mind. Even for the base camp, I knew that I was taking a risk. So two things. One is I always wanted to challenge myself with this whole idea because I have been having sleep apnea from 2010. Since I did Fashion and You, I was having sleep apnea. And I always thought that it's a thing around my neck that I can't do certain things. So I wanted to challenge that notion. So this was a great way. I was going with people who I was trusting blindly. So I went with this full thing in my mind that at any point, if I'm not well physically or there's a challenge, there is already a system where I could get evacuated by chopper. So I said, why not give it a shot till that point? And in fact, one of the ladies in our sister team actually had to be evacuated at the last point, GOQii. This is the day morning when we would have just finished the base camp. She had to be evacuated by chopper. So I went with that full, and once I realized that at any point if there's a problem I can get evacuated, that whole fear went away. But why I actually did it, I don't know. I think I'm wired a little differently in the sense that if somebody tells me this can't be done, then it makes all the more reason for me to do it.
So I'm a very lazy person. Before this, the only peak I'd ever done was a small hill called Matheran near Bombay. And when I tried to come for the EBC, everybody said, you can't go because I have a condition called sleep apnea. So I have to carry this lovely portable machine called a CPAP machine. But thanks to Dilshad and this awesome crew that she has, I could charge my battery at every point through solar, through generator, to whatever. And I had a terrific sleep. I had a most awesome time of my life.
But if I look back, I think the one person I would give the maximum credit is Vishal. Before this, we connected, I became a GOQii customer, and he said, there's a 100-kilometer walk, let's do it. This is over 48 hours. Your first thought is, oh, in the jungle I can't plug in my machine, so I can't do it. He said, yaar, chal, karte hain. I did it, I did the 100 kilometers. So that broke one mental barrier. एक बार टूट गया तो फिर ठीक है. Amit Singhal has been telling me that we should do Mind this peak 2 years from now, and I have said yes to him. So I need to get, because submitting a peak I can't use my machine. No way I can use my machine. So I need to get off the sleep apnea thing, get off the CPAP machine, and only then can I do it. So in the next 2 years I have to get off my CPAP machine. I need to figure out how. I'm sure I'll figure it out. But in the next 2 years, because I have to do that trip with Amit, I'm going to go off the CPAP machine.
The only generator which is going to work for Rahul is to be imported from Russia, which uses refined polonium, and it creates a battery out of some nuclear energy. It's only few grams of polonium. It's lead reinforced, but that battery will last for a year and it will give full power.
Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible, and I don't mean it in that ठीक है बोलने के लिए dialogue है ठीक है. I've gone and done it. I'm probably the only person in the world so far with sleep apnea to have done base camp. So if I've done it, if I can do that, a lot of things are possible in life. So it's opened up a lot of world of possibilities for me.
मृगलाई मैले ताकेको होइन मायालाई ताकेको रेशम पिरिरी sometime uphill sometime downhill रेशम पिरिरी